So in this video, I will talk about what are humans, why we are a separate species, why we are not like other big apes and primates. So, and also I will go slowly to this idea that people can live longer, much longer, but situation with big pharma and all these corporations such that people don't, these corporations don't want humans to live longer. This is for population control or something. There are quite popular opinions that only 500 million people can live on this planet and can have sustainable life. I am of different opinion. I believe that we have to populate not only our solar system but other stars in galaxies. So again, we will go how to do it. Evolution theory was proposed by Charles Darwin in 1859, despite the fossil record of his time presenting many facts that his theory could not explain. He anticipated that future fossil discoveries would provide more evidence for transitional species that his theory predicted. However, despite 150 years of paleontological research, the predicted transitional forms remain absent from the record, and critics argue that rapid appearance of diverse complex organisms, especially during the so-called Cambrian explosion. I will talk about this in more details in a longer version of the presentation. So then there was no gradual transitional forms that standard evolutionary theory would predict and cannot explain origin of humans. Again, this is quite simplified vision of the how life appeared on this planet. It explains absolutely nothing. It is absolutely so, well, it's like for kids who cannot think and logically, but it was in all schools and all universities as the only true theory explaining the life. So modern discoveries of genetic code present challenges that evolutionary theory did not anticipate. Some scientists propose that while evolutionary mechanism can explain adaptation and variation within species, or so-called macroevolution, they may be not sufficient to account for the origin of entirely new species or biological systems, or so-called macroevolution. Alternative intelligent design-based theories were proposed, suggesting that fine-tuning of physical constants in the universe, which are necessary for life to exist, is evidence of intelligent design. Proponents of intelligent design also suggest that information in DNA, cellular machinery, and multicellular organisms are too complex to appear by chance and natural selection. Again, I have a doctorate degree in physics and mathematics, so quantum physics was a part of my education, and also philosophy related to quantum physics. So I'm devout Christian because quantum physics explains quite well the Bible and Christianity. So it is again, it is true, and I just rely. It's not that I believe, I trust this theory or idea of Christianity. It works. So I should say it is, as a scientist, I would say this works. I can rely on it because it always worked. Pardon. So, and if we will consider even a single cell organism, they are so complicated that we just cannot explain how it appeared, this mechanism to propel the bacteria, for example, and it is so complicated. It is again cannot be a chance. Absolutely impossible. Mathematically, it is impossible to get such sophisticated mechanism, and And also we see single cell organism, but then multi-cell organism. So there is no transition of like 2-cell organism, 3-cell, 4 cells. It jump into multi-cell organism. Pardon. Okay, so until 2003, when sequencing of the human genome was completed, evolutionary theory proposed that humans and other primates share a common ancestor. This means that humans and primates all naturally evolved from a single non-existent ancestral species approximately 6 to 8 million years ago. And from this ancestor, different lineages evolved, leading to the diversity of primate species we see today, including humans. Contrary to many evolutionary paleoanthropologists' claim, the fragmented hominid fossil record does not show that humans gradually evolved from ape-like hominids. It is again, it is in school books, it is presented as evolution, gradual change of primates to humans. It never happened, absolutely never happened. We are completely different species from primates, so much different, it just cannot be. Okay, there is a hypothesis of an end-to-end fusion of two small ape chromosomes named 2A and 2B to produce human chromosome 2 and explain small number of chromosomes in humans, 46 instead of 48 in big apes. Chromosome 2 is the second largest human chromosome, representing almost 8% of the total DNA in human cells. The chromosome fusion theory claims that human chromosome 2 is the result of fusion of two small chromosomes, and that happened 4.5 million years ago. However, the overwhelming scientific evidence indicates that such fusion never happened. This was how it is they try to present that two ape chromosomes somehow were split to pieces and then fused to smaller chromosome. But in this case, there will be two centromeres. Centromeres are very important for fusion, or pardon, for division of cells, and chromosomes with two centromeres are just dysfunctional. It cannot be. And to remove one centromere, it needs so high level of genetic engineering that even now scientists cannot do it. Science has traced the evolution and origin of Neanderthals as biological species for about 500,000 years, while Cro-Magnon people mysteriously appeared about 50,000 years ago. Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons were distinct biological species, no doubt. Even in end of 90s, it's already was known that the sequencing of the Neanderthal chromosomes was done and compared to human chromosomes, and again the conclusion was we are different species, absolutely nothing common. So Neanderthals and Denisovans went extinct about 40,000 years ago, probably because they were unable to compete for food resources with Cro-Magnons. In contrast to Neanderthals, who lived only 22 years, like dogs and cats maybe, Cro-Magnons were characterized by longevity far above 50 years. So this is how this evolution is presented. It's again wrong, absolutely wrong. It is like all this faces were modified so that to resemble a human face. Absolutely not. So it is the same difference between gorilla or chimpanzee and humans. It's again, we are completely different species, absolutely different in everything, in biology and social structure and sexual behavior and everything. Okay, so here we see the Cro-Magnons. Cro-Magnons were very tall, more than 7 feet tall, and modern men degraded from Cro-Magnons to, on average, we have 5 foot 8 inch height, and Neanderthals were even smaller, but very massive, like gorilla, very strong, very muscular species. They had very big eyes, so it allowed them to hunt in darkness. but also brain of the this Neanderthals were large enough, but what part of the brain was large? The part which responsible for vision. So they were hunting in darkness for small animals mostly. But Cro-Magnons were different in this hunting technique. Animal fat this again why different, because Cro-Magnons were hunting for large animals in large groups, also hunting, but Neanderthals were hunting for small animals, and small animals have low fat in the body, like rabbits, and then this was the difference that Neanderthals were relying on protein as a source of information, and Cro-Magnons were used fat as source of information. Animal fat consumption is important for our brain development, and fat consumption during the Ice Age helped Cro-Magnons develop large brain volume. And when the Ice Age ended approximately 3,000 years ago, people invented agriculture, began cultivating grains. Grains continued to be primary energy source in our civilization, and in the shortage of animal fats, the human brain began to shrink. This is what happened. We are not evolving. So there is no evidence of evolution in the nature, or only devolution, only degradation of species. So once this Cro-Magnons, absolutely fantastic species, fantastic animals or humans, and they evolved to present day humans, which are with much smaller brain, so modern humans would not survive during the Ice Age or during the Stone Age, absolutely impossible. So Cro-Magnons had IQ probably more than 200. So they were much smarter than modern humans. So consuming animal fats as a main source of energy from early childhood can help prevent human mental degradation, improve health of the elderly, and significantly increase lifespan. Again, this is to stay in ketosis so important for to live longer. It is the base. It is the base of longevity. So here it is presented like evolution, and so slowly brain was evolving, was getting bigger, but actually, again, all interesting happened here at the peak, and when Cro-Magnons appeared, and then very sharp, very quick decline in the volume of the brain happened, and also very sharp decline in intelligence. So, as I said, modern humans would not survive during this very cold climate at that time, and also all the harsh environment, which was 50,000 years ago. Animals of different species cannot usually interbreed and produce fertile offspring. For example, horses have 64 chromosomes, while donkeys have 62 chromosomes. Mules and hinnies both have 63 chromosomes and are normally infertile. However, there have been records of anecdotal cases of fertile female mules since 16th century. And Przewalski horse has 66 chromosomes, but there are 65 chromosome hybrids with horses are fertile. Again, it is possible. So close species can interbreed, can transfer genes, and what happened with interbreeding with Neanderthals also happened with humans. Pardon. So this is a picture present hybrids between a lion and tiger. So they are quite well known. Okay, then what is happening in these hybrids? There are two kinds of cell division, mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis produces two genetically identical daughter cells from the single parent cell, so it is just multiplication of the cells, how the organism is growing. Whereas meiosis produces cells that are genetically unique from the parent and contain only half as much chromosomes. This is for produce gametes. Gametes are the egg or spermatozoid. And these gametes have only half as much DNA. During the meiosis cell cycle, infertile hybrids genes from two different species are swapped, resulting in hybrid chromosome with unique combination of genes in gametes, combination from father and mother, and this swapping or crossing over happens during the interphase or protophase 1 in the cells, in the hybrid cell cycle, in the meiosis, cell cycle during the process of producing gametes. So this is, again, you can find in any book for biology the description of this meiosis. And during meiosis, there is stage when the chromosomes swapping part of the genetic code, so that the resulting chromosomes have the blend mixture of genetic code from both parents, and they are again unique. This is how the genes can be transferred from one species to another. And modern humans do not have Neanderthal Y chromosomes or Neanderthal mitochondria in our cells. If they don't have Neanderthal mitochondria, it means the only human female was participating in this swap, in this interbreeding. And Y chromosomes also not present. It means boys were not fertile, or maybe were not able to survive. But again, most likely, it's again, genetics shows that we have some genes from Neanderthals through this crossbreeding between Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons. And rhesus factor of the blood and blood type indicates the individual presence of or absence of some important genes obtained from Neanderthals. All chimpanzees have type A blood, all gorillas have type B blood, and Cro-Magnons have O type blood. Neanderthals were carriers of a gene that prevents the digestion of lactose or milk in adulthood. Yes, again. So personally, I have O minus, O negative blood, which is considered as universal donor. So my blood can be used for transfusion to any other human. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all. My sister has B minus blood, and this is a problem. Having rhesus negative blood is for female is a huge problem, because if husband has rhesus positive, then the child, the first child can survive, but the second mostly not. And if child will not survive during the pregnancy, that the female also cannot survive. This is why these royals in Europe were interbreeding, were getting married only to these females were getting married only to royal royal men, because otherwise they were just dying out. So they discovered that they cannot take as husband anybody. It has to be a person with a rhesus negative blood. So it was explained, of course, much later, but then this RH negative blood is again how it was existing, especially in some nobility and royals. How it because it is recessive genetic trait, and in blending with other with rhesus positive, then the offspring has rhesus positive blood. So again, it is quite interesting. Quite again, it's quite kind of miracle why rhesus negative blood exists in Europe, mostly in Europe, and explanation is such that climate in Europe was so cold and the environment was so harsh that to survive the harsh environment you need some immunity to viral infection and to cold and bacterial infection, and O negative blood especially immune to viral infection. I know it for myself. I am almost completely immune to many viruses, not all, but some viruses. Papilloma virus, unfortunately, not. But again, my immune system works so that it at least suppress, and I don't have these warts. So, but at least some other much more dangerous viruses like COVID-19 virus, I'm immune to this virus. This is good. Humans with rhesus negative O type blood live on average longer than those with rhesus positive blood and can digest milk well into old age. This was with me. I like milk. I love milk. Always loved it, and I consume a lot of milk and whey protein, etc. In contrast to Neanderthals, Denisovans, and other primates, almost all present-day humans carry a serine to glycine amino acid substitution in the gene. This is mutation. This is probably mutation. And this is positive mutation because it is enzyme, so-called glutathione reductase. It helps to reduce oxidative stress in organism and may contribute to reduced chronic inflammation in older age and greater longevity. Okay, this was probably positive because again, in case of infections, then people were surviving with such mutation. Okay, then this is how blood type percentage presented. So the rarest is blood type is AB minus, and I have O minus. It is 3% of population, but probably less. Now it's again now everything changed. The O minus is quite rare, and this probability of this risk of death from viral infection, like especially COVID-19, much lower, much less than with other type of the blood, and especially negative, rhesus negative blood. It's again O type negative blood is very stable, very immune, absolutely almost immune to viruses, especially COVID-19. This I know. I don't need any vaccine. Longevity is not directly determined by genetics, by diet and lifestyle. It is again, in my opinion. Toxins in plant-based foods can accumulate and cause chronic hypoxia, inflammation, stiffening of blood vessels and tissues, and the accumulation of senescent and cancer cells. This is what happens in mice. This is what happens in humans if they follow this recommended by medical professionals diet with a lot of plant-based food. In social insects, queens receive purified foods, leading to 20-40 times longer lifespan than that of working members. So it's an explanation why they live longer. All the same genetics, the same, but they live much longer just because of the diet. Microbats live 20-40 times longer than mice and rats due to using animal fats as the main source of energy and short gut transit time to avoid producing toxins by pathogens in their gut. Again, even you can consume animal protein also. Animal fat is quite easy digested, but animal fat maybe not. Animal protein may be not well digested, so you have to do something. And if short colon transit time, it is all removed, so the pathogens do not have time to produce toxins, and then this is why microbats live much longer. So consuming raw starch helps snake mole rats and blind mole rats live longer. This was I was explaining why, because again raw starch, fermentation of raw starch, especially resistant starch, produces butyric acid, and butyric acid can be used as fuel in epithelium cells in the gut and helps to keep gut healthy. So it's again absolutely important. So and we can do all of it. So this is how the blind mole rats, snake mole rats, and brown bats live much longer than compared to mice. We may mimic the diet of the queens by consuming amino acids, fatty acids, and their esters. This again, we can do it, especially in old age. It is so easy. Prebiotics like raw potato starch and mushrooms can help protect colon and blood vessels also. We may mimic the diet of the microbes by incorporating animal fats and proteins in the diet. So, but again, if we consume like meat and protein, animal protein, we have to shorten the gut transit time. Intense aerobic exercise and consuming mild laxatives like magnesium salts and ascorbic acid in megadoses help shorten colon transit time and suppress pathogens. This again, we just try to follow the nature. Of course, it is nobody yet lives forever. I hope I will be the first one, first person who live at least 1,000 years. And what also, glutamate intake is crucial for removing ammonia produced by pathogens in the colon and from burning proteins and amino acids in tissues, especially in muscles. Muscles, especially after intense exercise, they are broken, and macrophages are coming and consume these broken cells and produce ammonia. And ammonia gives signal to stem cells in the muscles to multiply and to produce new muscle cells. Vitamin C, a crucial vitamin for humans and animal health, cannot be produced from glucose in human body. And clinical trials show that at least half gram of vitamin C daily can increase longevity by almost 6 years in men and slightly less in women. So cheap, so half gram. But Dr. Linus Pauling proposed ascorbic acid intake up to 20 gram. But ascorbic acid, it is half only vitamin C. So 20 gram of ascorbic acid means 10 gram of vitamin C. But it helps. And he proposed to prevent cardiovascular diseases and to cure viral infections. It's big help, actually. Dr. Abram Hofer, he lived 94 years, proposed regular intake of megadoses of nicotinic acid. These are other, also interesting supplement. Dr. Andrew Saul was taking ascorbic acid and nicotinic acid in megadoses for 20 years. But what problem that Dr. Pauling lived 93 years and passed away from cancer. So it's why? Because they were following vegetarian diet and used carbohydrates as a source of energy. Carbohydrates are well known from 30s. They are food for cancer cells. I cannot understand why Dr. Pauling, so smart person, was following advice of medical professionals to follow vegetarian diet and to get energy from carbohydrates. I don't understand it at all. He's so smart. But Dr. Saul lived only 69 years. Also, he was following a vegetarian diet. And this is the problem. Okay, this is Linus Pauling. He died at 93. Andrew Saul, 69, he looked quite well, but again, you see, it's taking nicotinic acid and amino acid and ascorbic acid, not enough. It's not enough. There is no single or combination of supplement which can help you. All based on the diet. The diet is a base of longevity. This Abram Hofer lived 94 years, and he proposed supplementation with niacin. Niacin is nicotinic acid. So it is again quite good idea, I would say. Neither ascorbic acid nor nicotinic acid supplements can allow living longer on vegetarian or standard diet. So if you follow vegetarian or standard diet, forget about longevity. Forget. So you will maybe live a little bit longer than other people who don't consume large doses of vitamin C, but not enough. All the people need to maintain ketosis, to stay in ketosis, consume animal protein or amino acids for better health. Again, we need protein, we need amino acids. Problems that animal protein is not all digested, especially in older age. It gets to the colon and getting fermented by pathogens to produce toxins, and this is why medical professionals recommend to reduce consumption of protein, especially animal protein. But again, we need amino acids, we need protein, otherwise you develop sarcopenia. And the solution is easy. You just buy amino acids. Amino acids are cheap. So the healthiest animal fat is the butter, while whey protein powder is the healthiest animal protein. It is very easy digested. I use it, and bodybuilders use it to grow muscles also. But what is interesting fact I will tell this here. People in Hong Kong consume more than 600 grams per day of meat, of fatty meat, mostly pork, but also chicken, with monosodium glutamate, and live the longest in the world. For comparison, Maasai people who are on a strict carnivore diet but without monosodium glutamate have life expectancy of only 60. You see difference. Monosodium glutamate make miracles because it is important to detox your gut and from ammonia, and also detox your body from ammonia. Without it, it doesn't work. So, medical professionals recommend in old age restricting meat, avoiding monosodium glutamate, and following diet rich in seed oils, grains, fruits, vegetables, and legumes. It's funny again. But if you think you can get better advice from artificial intelligence, you will not. Artificial intelligence, it is just copy from official recommendations, and you will get recommendation. Okay, you have to eat more fruits, more fiber, and fiber is cellulose fiber, which never digested. In difference from mushrooms and in difference from resistant starch, it never digested in the colon, so it is only damaging the colon. So again, this is why expectancy of people in Hong Kong, it is growing. Okay, so they consume 600. Show me people who consume on average more than 600 grams of meat a day. Not many Europeans, not many Americans do it. So I tried to consume more than 1 kilo a day of meat, but again, it doesn't help. It just doesn't help. If you eat only meat without monosodium glutamate, it doesn't help. Sorry, you see, it's again, you can follow Maasai people and consume a lot of meat and other animal products, or you can follow Hong Kong people in Hong Kong and consume a lot of protein, but with monosodium glutamate. But what I advise, just modify a little bit more, and include amino acids, include this resistant starch and mushrooms in your diet. But again, what is interesting that these Maasai people, they're very tall. They're almost all of them are taller than 6 feet, 6 feet to 5 inch tall. Even 7 feet is quite normal. So they are very close to Cro-Magnons, at least in height. Maybe not in brain, but in height, yes. It shows that Cro-Magnons were consuming animal products. Without this carnivore diet, you cannot grow high. But Cro-Magnons lived 50 years, maybe 60 years like this, because harsh environment and in consumption only meat, even fatty meat is not so healthy. And this is why these Maasai people, even they are very, very good looking and in young age, then they don't live long. So, in comparison, vegetarian diet, this Dr. Greger proposed, and he is very popular. He's very popular, and he promotes this vegetarian diet. And compare him in age of 50. Awful. Okay, compare him with Tom Cruise when he was 50 years old. Difference, big difference. I don't know what diet Tom Cruise is following, but I believe that it is not vegetarian diet for sure. All the people with long history of following recommended diets must detox their bodies from accumulated toxins, oxidized seed oils, waste products of metabolism, oxalates, senescent and cancer cells, and advanced glycation end products. And Tom Cruise promotes a detox program called Purification Rundown, which he used himself. And again, detoxing helps to live longer and look better, absolutely important. If you can go to sauna, do it regular and with mega doses of, this rundown, is this purification rundown, includes long sessions, more than 3 hours a day, up to 5 hours a day, so it is not everybody can afford it. In saunas with mega doses of niacin and adsorbent. It's sweating to remove toxins through skin, and absorbents to remove toxins from your gut. And niacin is why niacin accelerates production of bile. I mean, it ignites production of bile, and bile is absolutely important to remove toxins from our body. And also, if it goes quick, then bile is not reabsorbed in the colon to the bloodstream, and because this secondary bile acids, they are toxic. So, but again, you have to detox your gut. So this is why they use some absorbent like carbon, or maybe other. I use raw starch, but carbon also will work. But just be careful, because carbon or clay powder can create constipation. So doses are important, so you have to decide about doses. What else? I produced and successfully used microbial enzymes to reduce systolic blood pressure. This reduction was in 2 months already. Good results, not only for me, but some people who participate in my project. And also to remove lipofuscin in longer term. Okay, let's go. This is Tom Cruise. Again, he looked great, even at his 50. Now he's 61, or 61, I believe. We see that he's aging, but again, he's not doing everything what I propose. But at least it helps. It helps to slow down aging. This is how I produce these enzymes, and I produce this from honeycombs, and I have videos of how I produce it. And the result of this radical systolic blood pressure reduction on this slide. In 21, it was again quite low pressure and low heartbeat rate, and resting heartbeat rate. So almost 90 to 53, and so only the pulse pressure was 37. So it's very good, very good. It shows that blood goes through my blood vessels very easy. Other people who had hypertension, they improved and they got about 110 with something. So and the pulse pressure was 40 for them. And again, in 24, it was a little bit high, because again, it depends on your aerobic activity. At that time, I was swimming a lot, mostly swimming. Now I'm more cycling. Almost all day I go cycling a lot, 3 hours and a half, 80 kilometers in total. And cycling is not as healthy as swimming, unfortunately. So I have to, but now I don't have these conditions for swimming every day. So I can do it, but not easy. This is like lipofuscin creates age spots on skin. People of my age, they have these age spots normally, at least I see in other people. And lipofuscin is a result of the glycation and oxidation of fat, plus glycation of proteins. So they produce this pigment which accumulates in skin, and I don't have age spots. I'm 68, and my age, again, I said people have this age spot, I don't. So many amino acids are produced by microbial fermentation of carbohydrates on industrial scale to be included in animal feed. These amino acids are much cheaper than animal protein and can be included in the diet for all the people. In Thailand, they are so cheap. Like glycine is about $3 American per kilo. It's incredibly cheap. And other lysine depends on purity, but almost the same price. And quite many other amino acids are available. Again, everything depends on purity. If it is completely pure from this bacterial, then it is more expensive. But if it is for animal feed, it is very cheap, much cheaper than any other source of protein. Apart from the detoxing of the human body from ammonia, monosodium glutamate can improve skin elasticity and hair growth. This I try. So that's, I think it helps, but it has to be applied topically, regular. Consuming citric, lactic, and malic acid can offer various health benefits as they play important roles in energy production, mineral absorption. So lemon juice, malic acid is just lactic acid is from fermented dairy product, and the malic acid you can buy as supplement or as chemical. So I have malic acid and I just use it in my water extracts of some plants like dill seeds. So and also these acids help to detox bodies from oxalates. Very important, because if people were eating a lot of vegetables, they have accumulation of oxalates and you cannot remove them. It is so hard, and your health complications are so hard, so big, and then it is absolutely necessary, but it will take years. But you can accelerate the removal of oxalates with this weak organic acid. This is how fermentation of sugar cane molasses to monosodium glutamate is going. It is, again, it is well known. And monosodium glutamate in Thailand are also cheaper than $3 American per kilo. And again, I use more than 20 grams per day of monosodium glutamate. I replaced all salt with monosodium glutamate. Maximum, if you replace all salt, all table salt with monosodium glutamate, you can consume up to 40 grams of monosodium glutamate a day. So I consume more than 20. I'm not sure, but that I consume 40, but close to it. Main goal of my project is to propose diets and lifestyles that even poor people in developing countries like Thailand can follow to live much longer, productive lives. My recommendations are based on scientific publications and observation, but in some aspects they are much different from recommendations of medical professionals. So, and situation is, because it is again different from what corporations promote, much different, and as a scientist, I don't trust medical professional at all. I just absolutely against vaccination, absolutely against all the statins and other popular drugs. I do not deny that antibiotics, some antibiotics make miracles. And of course, I am not so stupid to reject the use of some antibiotic like minocycline or doxycycline. It's again, or some antihypertensive drugs. But again, you have to be very careful. You have to understand what you are doing and never follow medical professionals. I went to Thailand in part because in Germany I paid huge money for medical insurance. I never was sick. I never was using medical advising. For 14 years in Germany I never used, but I paid myself €700 a month and €700 my university paid, so it is huge money, €1,400 a month only for medical insurance, which I never used. It is ridiculous. So I came here, I said, no medical insurance. I never go to doctors. Unfortunately, I was not good in this because after there was accident, the dog, some local drug baron, drug dealer, bite me and it was blood, and I was thinking that okay, traditional vaccine maybe it is not so dangerous. So I got vaccine against rabies, standard vaccine in case of a dog bite you, and consequences were awful after vaccination, not after the bite of the dog. Dog is okay. Drug dealer is okay. In Taiwan, you can buy amphetamines, you can buy so-called ice, this fentanyl. Easy and so cheap. And people buy, and the police participate in it. It is, corruption in this country is staggering. Okay, so that's all. Thank you for your time. And I hope you will watch also my longer presentation with more references, but much longer, unfortunately. Now we have rain season. This is a problem because if it is heavy raining, I cannot go cycling. But I have to go, at least maybe go to swimming. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your time.